Hello YouTube viewers and Transformers fans of all ages, this is the TFN Geek, and recently I was tagged to take part in another toy challenge by fellow YouTuber Transformers and video games. This tag challenge was started by the Patriot Prime Reviews. I love his videos. He does nice videos on G1 Transformers toys, and basically the tag challenge is known as the POTP challenge, and the acronym POTP takes its roots from the Transformers Generations Power of the Primes toy line, but in this tag challenge video, the acronym POTP is based on the initials for the words Polished Old Terrible Plastic. So basically what the tag challenge is about is you show off a very old toy that does not have to necessarily be a Transformer, but it goes from a vehicle into a robot, and basically there has to be some feature about it that makes it terrible, but at the same time it has to be well kept up, and basically there's vintage toys that fall into the category, and so I was tagged by Transformers and Video Games. I was one of 7 people he tagged to take part in the challenge, and hopefully I can think of some people by the time the video ends to tag myself. So for my POTP challenge toy, I actually have here with me a knockoff of a robot-to-vehicle toy, and this is actually Fire Dagwon, who is one of the main heroic characters from a robot-to-vehicle franchise known as Brave. Now, after the Transformers Generation 1 franchise ended in 1990 in Japan, Takara Tomy wanted to keep releasing toys that went from robots to vehicles, and unlike Hasbro, who released the Transformers Generation 2 franchise, Takara Tomy decided to release an entire new series of robot-to-vehicle toys known as Brave. Brave lasted roughly 6 seasons in Japan, and Fire Dagwon is from the last series of the Brave franchise, titled Brave Command Dagwon. And my apologies if I'm pronouncing the word Dagwon incorrectly, but I haven't been able to find a website translating it. The Brave franchise was successful enough in Takara Tomy being able to make more robot-to-vehicle toys, but unfortunately it never garnered the large fan base that the Transformers franchise had done. And basically the Brave franchise is marked down along with GoBots as being a failed robot-to-vehicle franchise that didn't have what it took to compete with the Transformers. And when most people think of the word Brave as being part of the title of a cartoon, they tend to think of Disney and Pixar's 2013 movie Brave about Princess Merida and medieval Scotland. So, unfortunately, Brave, most people don't even know what the Brave franchise is, because as far as I'm aware of, it was never brought over to American television, but some of the toys released in the Brave toy line did get released as knockoffs at discount dollar stores in the United States, and that's what this version of Fire Dagwon is. Now, the reason I know this is a knockoff is because I found photos of an original Fire Dagwon toy, and the paint job and the stickers, which is what this side window is, and there you can see the word Dagwon written upside down. But yes, as far as I'm aware of, this is a knockoff because the stickers and the paint job that this version of Fire Dagwon has is not the same as the original, and it's more prominent in robot mode, but I'll show it off right now. If you look right here where I'm touching, on the original version of Fire Dagwon, these plastic bits that are gold chrome here on this version of Fire Dagwon, they were solid gray plastic on an original, so that's how I'm almost certain that this toy is in fact a knockoff. Now, before we get to Fire Dagwon himself, very quickly, here is his partner. This guy is named Fire Lancia because he transforms into a Lancia that's been modified to be I think it's actually supposed to be a police car, but basically, Fire Dagwon has 3 smaller vehicles that act as drones for him, and Fire Lancia is the only one that is capable of transforming into his own robot. It's very simple. It's somewhat reminiscent of the Transformers Generation 1 toy of the Protectobot Streetwise, so even though this guy's name is Fire Lancia, I've always thought of him as being a police car because the other 2 drones that Fire Dagwon has that don't turn into robots, they actually turn into Fire Dagwon's arms, which I will show off in a moment. They're a fire truck and an ambulance, so here's Fire Lancia as a robot. He doesn't like to stand straight up anymore, and one thing I forgot to mention earlier, for accessory pieces on this knockoff version, you get 4 extra missiles that can be stored inside Fire Dagwon when he's in airplane mode, but they don't store solidly, they kind of just rattle around in a storage compartment that he has. And you also get a laser gun for Fire Lancia. And because of how the gun is molded, Fire Lancia holds it properly best in his left arm. You can put it in Fire Lancia's right arm, but then it looks like he's just holding it upside down, so I have no idea if that was done intentionally or not, but Takara Tomy ended up making Fire Lancia left-handed. So yes, setting Fire Lancia off to the side for a moment now. Unfortunately, as far as I am aware of, there is no actual way to store Fire Lancia inside Fire Dagwon when he's transformed into his jet mode. There is a compartment that Fire Lancia occupies when Fire Dagwon is transformed into a robot, but the back of Fire Lancia, his rear wheels, they're too wide for him to be stored in that compartment when Fire Dagwon's a jet. So now moving focus onto Fire Dagwon himself. He is unique amongst robot-to-vehicle toys, including official Transformers released by both Hasbro and Takara Tomy, due to the fact that his vehicle mode is a 747 jumbo airliner passenger jet. And most robot-to-vehicle toys, Transformers, GoBots, and I believe even a lot of figures from the Brave franchise, most robot-to-vehicle toys that turn into jets, they end up turning into either fighter jets or spaceships. And I literally can count on my fingers the number of official Transformers toys that come close to representing a passenger jet, but when you look at them again, they actually look like they're more of a fighter jet instead of an actual passenger jet like Fire Dagwon. Now, as far as in jet mode, Fire Dagwon, he does have one little feature where his 4 jet engines, they have the same exact missiles that I showed a moment ago, so I don't know on the original one if there were extra missiles available, but on this knockoff they came with them just to give Fire Dagwon more play value and in case if you lost the first set. So the way the missiles work, they're push activated. You basically push on the back of the jet engine and the missiles fire out. So Fire Dagwon does have that one feature of a fighter jet where he can actually shoot missiles out from under his wings. And so yes, he's pretty imposing. He is a robot I would not want to mess with. And for anyone wondering why I say that about Fire Dagwon, for a quick size comparison with one of Hasbro's official Transformers toys, here is Fire Dagwon compared to Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime, and they're roughly the same size. So yes, Fire Dagwon is the size equivalent of a leader class Transformers toy. Now, Fire Dagwon was released for the first time in 1996. That was the same year I got this knockoff version. It was actually given to me as a surprise birthday present by one of my cousins because I had told them that I was into collecting toy airplanes, and when they saw this one and how big it was, they decided it would be the perfect birthday present for me. So Fire Dagwon, he does roll somewhat well, but unfortunately one of the landing gears is slightly lower than The other one, this one is sitting above the ground, so he doesn't roll that well. And then his back landing gear, there, you can't see them really well, but they're right underneath these gold trapezoids. And these, as you have probably already figured out by now, are Fire Dagwon's robot mode legs. And basically, Fire Dagwon, he does have the potential to roll around very well, but because of how his wheels are positioned, he can't really do it that successfully. Now, Fire Dagwon is a triple changer. I will transform him into his base mode and be back with you in a moment. So really quickly, here's Fire Dagwon in his base mode. Basically, you just open up his jet nose, flip up the wings, and then you actually move his robot mode legs out slightly, and moving Fire Lancia for a second just to show it. But basically what you do is, when Fire Dagwon is in jet mode, his fire truck and ambulance drones, they actually sit here in these storage compartments, and you launch them out. There's a little button here on the back side, and it folds up a ramp, and so they roll automatically right out. Sorry for that noise. So, basically Fire Dagwon's base mode is actually a battle deployment mode for launching his 3 drones into combat. And the reason why Fire Lancia is facing backwards is because that's actually how he stores inside the storage compartment. I had said at the start of the video that Fire Dagwon had a storage compartment, and basically that's it. So for just one quick pause while I get Fire Dagwon into robot mode, and we'll see what he looks like. And here's Fire Dagwon in his robot mode, and he is tall. I had to move the camera really far back to get his entire robot mode on camera. Now the reason why Fire Dagwon is somewhat of a terrible toy to me is because of this. Today he has now become a flippity-floppity mess, and just right now transforming him on camera, I've kept Fire Dagwon permanently transformed in his robot mode and transforming him into jet mode and base mode for this video. A chunk of plastic actually chipped off of him. I don't know what part of him it was, but yes, he has definitely seen better days, and even by knockoff standards, he definitely is no longer in his prime. So as you can see, the fire truck and ambulance drones Fire Dagwon comes with, they become his left and right arms, and the fire truck's ladder actually becomes a built-in sword that Fire Dagwon uses to defend himself. Now, one last feature about Fire Dagwon that I unfortunately cannot show off is that he was actually able to combine with another robot from the Brave Command Dagwon franchise known as Power Dagwon. Power Dagwon was a robot the same size as Fire Dagwon, only his vehicle mode was an excavator, and they could combine into a larger robot and become Super Fire Dagwon. So it's almost like the way the Transformers Generation 1 characters of Jinrai and God Bomber combined to form God Jinrai. And unfortunately that was a common trend in the late 80s and early 90s by Takara Tomy, was whenever one robot combined with another robot, and one of the robots basically turned into Power Bomber for the first robot. But they just slapped a different word in front of the name of the main robot that made the combined mode and said instant upgraded character. So for a size comparison with one of Hasbro's official Transformers action figures, because I brought him out earlier, in vehicle mode, here is Fire Dagwon compared to Power of the Prime's Optimus Prime. So yes, Fire Dagwon is at the head. He's slightly taller than Optimus Prime, even ignoring their tops, head crests. And so yes, Fire Dagwon is a pretty bulky robot, and it kind of makes me wonder if Takara Tomy were to try and incorporate some of the characters from the Brave franchise into the Transformers franchise, as the way Hasbro has tried and failed to incorporate the GoBots into the Transformers franchise. think that if modern day toys from the Brave franchise were to be released, they would be enormous. And just because I compared Fire Dagwon a second ago to Jinrai and God Bomber, and the way they combine into God Jinrai is almost the same way that Fire Dagwon combines with Power Dagwon to become Super Fire Dagwon. Here is Fire Dagwon compared to Takara Tomi's Transformers Legends LGEX God Jinrai, and they are both really enormous. So yes, Fire Dagwon is roughly the size equivalent of an official Leader Class Transformers toy that's been released in the Transformers Generations toy line. And unfortunately, Takara Tomy has no prospects of updating the Brave franchise, because basically it did mediocre levels of popularity and it wasn't much of an experience. So one last thing I will say, in case anyone was wondering, where did Fire Lancia go? He's basically right here behind Fire Dagwon's head in the storage compartment, and basically Fire Lancia was almost like Jinrai, forming the core of God Jinrai, where basically it was a small robot using a larger robot as an exosuit. But for Fire Dagwon and Fire Lancia, as far as I'm aware of from what I read on Wikipedia, it was one step further from Jinrai and God Jinrai basically being the same robot, but instead Fire Dagwon is as far as I'm aware of, he does have a separate personality from Fire Lancia, but it's the same principle. And then one last feature for Fire Dagwon is that it's really hard to see, but here on his chest he has a bird's head sculpted onto his chest, and so you flip this little part out and there's the beak of the bird's head, and so that, I believe, is Fire Dagwon when he's powered up and charged for battle. So please let me know what you think in the comments section of this knockoff version of Fire Dagwon from the Brave franchise. Thank you, Transformers and Video Games, for asking me to take part in the POTP challenge. And some YouTubers I would like to tag for this challenge: Dennis Moulton, aka Gotbot, Master Far, I'd like to tag you to see if you have an old robot-to-vehicle toy in your collection. I'd like to also tag, who else would I like to tag? The Transformer guy, RNM. I tagged you for the Transformers Tag Challenge with that list of 15 questions, and my apologies for tagging you again. But yes, and if there's anyone else who subscribed to my channel, please feel free to take part in this challenge. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the TFN Geek. Hope you all enjoyed this video and are having a great day.